Shalom. I had a dream about 15 years ago that I just got the interpretation of. And although the interpretation seems very obvious, it took me some time to figure it out. And in obedience, I am sharing this with you. It must be the time to do so. The Lord won't leave me alone. This is my first video. I've made probably 15 of these. And I just felt like it was getting too long. So I'm trying to make it short, and then I'll follow up on other videos after this if I don't find that this is so difficult. So I'm going to get into the dream now. While I get into the dream, I'll kind of give my interpretation of it at the same time, so it will be better understanding, okay? So first of all, I was at the Queen's Palace. Yay. And I looked out the window and I saw that the men were coming in from the sea from a war. So I made an announcement that the war is over. The war is over. And I was really excited, telling all these women that were there. And so what war was that? Okay. So the war is that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's in Ephesians 6:12. So that's the focus of the war. And so then we decided to get ready for a wedding feast and to prepare for a banquet. We were all excited. There was a lot of good energy going around. And there were virgins. We were all women, all likened unto virgins. Maybe we weren't virgins, but that was the idea. So in Matthew 25:1 it says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom." But then all of a sudden there was a flood, and the flood came into the Queen's palace, and all of the virgins started swimming in the water. And they were trying to coerce me into swimming in the water, and finally I did jump in. So we were sleeping because, if you remember, the war was over and the voice was already cried out. So we were swimming and sleeping. In Matthew 25:7-10 it says, "Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said to the wise, 'Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.' But the wise answered, saying, 'Not so, lest there not be enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.' And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him unto the marriage." So while everyone was swimming, I got out, and I was really feeling ashamed. And then I heard a knock on the door when I went to go get my clothes on. And so during that time, I noticed that there were many people sleeping. And later, it was kind of like a different, like the dream kind of spotted from one scene to another. So then all of a sudden, I'm hanging on the ledge for my life above the floodwaters as it was receding. But there was a man just sitting very calmly throughout the whole thing, reading the newspaper, and I could see Jesus standing in the corner watching, telling me to get down off the ledge. So then afterward came also the other virgin, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered and said, "Verily I say to you, I know you not," in Matthew 25:11. So then, after that, the door was shut. And in Matthew 25:13 it says, "Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man come." Oh, I forgot to say that while I was hanging on the ledge, the reason why I didn't want to jump down while the water was receding was there were a bunch of dogs at the bottom. It was like the bottom of a swimming pool in the banquet hall. And they were all bloated. Some were still alive. And I was scared to jump down because I knew that if I jumped down, that I may get bitten by the dogs. But Jesus was standing there very calm, just watching, telling me to jump. And it was by faith, the strong strength I had to gather from way within myself to get myself to jump. And so when I jumped, finally, all the dogs disappeared and I woke up. So what does this all mean? And I'll go into more detail in other videos, but it means that the Lord is coming back, and we've known that for centuries, but I feel as though the time is at hand. And a lot of people, non-believers and believers, all feel something is going on and things are changing in our world. So we're having virgins that come, people that are awake, that know what's going on, but they weren't prepared. We have a flood of inequity, which I'll explain that inequity is worldwide right now, with increasing sin, like in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. We have people, sleeping throughout the whole thing, just not even paying attention, probably mocking the whole idea of the Lord coming back. We have people like myself hanging on the ledge with dogs at the bottom, ready to bite you and eat you up if you jump down by faith. And we have the Lord sitting there very calmly, watching everything in total control. So what do we do about it? What can we do? It's not to be a scary thing. It's to be something to be aware of, to be watchful, to understand what's going on around us, because these days are more and more difficult for believers and Christians. Persecution is just rampant worldwide. I can't name any country where there is not persecution of Christians. So there are tools that the Bible gives us to help us get through this time, like a wilderness time almost for many believers. And we have many believers that are sleeping that want itchy ears. We have a lot of pastors that don't talk about it. You can't talk about it to people in the church. You have non-believers that are preparing for huge earthquakes and famines, and you have all kinds of things going on all around us. So in the next videos, I'm going to talk about the importance of prayer, the importance of repentance, and putting on the armor of God to give us tools and give us encouragement through this time, for we are from a privileged generation.